Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
Money in the Bank goes down this weekend, Sunday. I'll be a part of the kickoff show, and we've got 10 matches, including one that is going to be on the kickoff show. The kickoff show match is the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. It's the Bludgeon Brothers versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. Now, there have been tweets sent out. Luke Harper asking if Carl Anderson's hot Asian wife is going to be there. Carl Anderson said she is not. I think that she is not. I think that that's a good idea because I wouldn't want my wife to see me in the ring with the Bludgeon Brothers. Look, unfortunately, I don't think the Good Brothers are going to come out on top in this one, but Carl Anderson's abs are going to look incredible, okay? The dude's in good shape. He's going to get to show off that body. The Bludgeon Brothers are leaving with the titles, but Carl Anderson's going to look good in the meantime. So what are we really complaining about, huh? You've got Daniel Bryan, of course, versus Big Cass. And much like the Gargano-Ciampa match, although I don't think this match will be as good as the Gargano-Ciampa match, I believe that this is a match that you have to establish Big Cass in. And based on the build for it, I don't think they're done with it. I think that this Daniel Bryan-Big Cass feud will continue through Extreme Rules. I think Big Cass will beat Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan's first defeat, I believe it's his first defeat, unless he's lost by disqualification. I don't think he's been pinned since he came back. I might be wrong. I'm just thinking of it right now. But I believe he will lose to Big Cass at Money in the Bank. I don't think Daniel Bryan's going to win that match. And I think he'll recover. I don't think he's going to get buried. I don't think it's going to destroy him. I'm not advocating for it. I just think that it's how it's going to go. And if it were me and I'm investing in Big Cass, you kind of need it. If Big Cass can't beat Daniel Bryan after everything he's done, at least in one match, you know, I don't know what is Big Cass? That's the issue. What does Big Cass do after this match if he doesn't beat Daniel Bryan? You know, he just doesn't look good for it. Daniel Bryan can recover. I don't know if Big Cass can. That's why I'm left saying Big Cass beats Daniel Bryan at Money in the Bank. We move on to the Intercontinental Championship match between Seth Rollins and Elias. I think if this match was not for the Intercontinental Championship, I would have Elias winning. I think Seth Rollins is one of the top good guys on Raw. I think Elias is one of the top bad guys on Raw. I think this match is the match of the future. I think that one day you will see these two guys wrestling in a main event for the WWE Championship or the Universal Championship. But right now, we're seeing them wrestle for the Intercontinental Championship at Money in the Bank, and I believe that Seth Rollins will retain. I think Elias is going to have a strong showing. I think Seth Rollins retains, and then Elias moves on to the next thing, as does Seth Rollins. Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn are going one-on-one, and while the build for this match has been not great, to say the least, I have to tell you, I thought the obstacle course segment on Raw was effective in the sense that we all kind of rolled our eyes because some of the other segments have been so weird that Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley have done. But it was amazing watching Bobby Lashley go through those obstacles. I mean, amazing. I'm sitting there going like, something's got to give because they're not going to expose Bobby Lashley like this. I mean, nobody can go through all those obstacles in a way that's going to make it look impressive, especially the way Bobby Lashley looks, the way he's been built up. There's no way that he's going to be able to go through those obstacles fast enough to impress us based on his appearance, and he did. Bobby Lashley came across looking like $1 million going through all those obstacles. I think it's pretty clear that Bobby Lashley is going to beat Sami Zayn at this pay-per-view. And after he beats him, he's got to move on to Roman Reigns. Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns is your match. That's the direction you need to head in. I don't know why you're not. Roman Reigns should be mad at Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is the one that should be going for the championship. Roman Reigns has had his opportunities. Bobby Lashley is now going for Roman Reigns' spot. Roman Reigns is mad at Bobby Lashley. It's all right there in front of you. Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns is the match. And you could just let it happen organically. I think that Roman Reigns will lead us to making Bobby Lashley more of a babyface. I think that we'll be able to see Bobby Lashley differently. And even if we go in a different direction and we make Bobby Lashley the heel, Bobby Lashley, when he was on this podcast before he returned to WWE, he said that he thought that he could make fans cheer Roman Reigns. He's confident in that. Let him have the opportunity. Let him have the opportunity. Bobby Lashley beats Sami Zayn. Then he goes on to face Roman Reigns. He's got to. That's the match we want to see. Or I want to see anyway, and it only makes sense to me. You've got Roman Reigns, speaking of, against Jinder Mahal, which, I think Roman Reigns has to win this. And everybody's saying that it may be Roman Reigns getting that SummerSlam match with Brock Lesnar. But, yeah, I think, with the build-up being what it is, Jinder Mahal being who he is, this seems a little bit like a place filler for Roman Reigns. But he's certainly got to prove it, right? I think that's key. That Roman Reigns has been walking around as if he's the uncrowned champion. But he's lost all of his matches that have been for the championship. He beat Samoa Joe at the last pay-per-view. Now, I think he's got to beat Jinder Mahal, and he's got to, at least on some level, show people that he deserves to be in the next Universal Championship match. He has to, at this point, because he's talked a big game. So now he's got to deliver. Let's get to the championship matches. Of course, your 2 women's championship matches. First, it's Carmella versus Asuka. I think Carmella leaves as the SmackDown Women's Champion. I think that Asuka specifically has been made to look strong on SmackDown so that when Carmella sneaks one by her, it doesn't hurt her quite as much. I think Asuka's going to continue to look strong, but I don't think she's going to be crowned the Women's Champion right now. And honestly, I think Carmella is a pretty good bad guy Women's Champion. I like her, and I think she's going to sneak one by Asuka. Not going to make Asuka look too weak, but we are going to have to swallow our pride and deal with the fact that Asuka has another defeat on her record, and it's to Carmella. We'll see where it goes after. I think it's crucial that if you're going to have Asuka lose to Carmella, you work double time coming off of Money in the Bank to make Asuka look strong. So hopefully that happens, but I do think that Carmella leaves with that title intact. And I think Nia Jax also leaves with her title intact. So far, all of the champions are retaining in my book. I think that you're going to see Natalya maybe cost Ronda Rousey the match. And I think you're going to see it in a way where it doesn't, where it's still, like, Natty's not just going to come in and interfere, right? First of all, she's not winning Money in the Bank and then cashing in and winning the title. Like, that's not what they're going to do. But I do believe that Natty will, I believe that earlier on in the night, I believe that Natalya will win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Natalya, this is, just based on the storylines that have gone through, I think Natalya is going to win that Money in the Bank match. And I think she's going to come out with the briefcase. And I think it's going to distract Ronda Rousey. And I think Nia Jax is going to get the win. I think what we're setting up for is a Nia Jax Natalya match. I don't think it's time for Ronda Rousey to be the champion just yet. Although I could see them putting the title on her. Just because they want, you were talking about the Fox deal. Or we were talking about the Fox deal. And Ronda Rousey, even though it's a SmackDown deal, Ronda Rousey is a huge part of this deal. Ronda Rousey is a big chess piece in the game that is the WWE right now. So I could see them putting the title on her just because of the value that she brings to the table and just because they want their promotional items to show Ronda Rousey holding a championship. The same way they wanted Braun Strowman to be holding up a championship at the end of the Greatest Royal Rumble, they may want Ronda Rousey in her promotional material holding up a WWE Championship title. So on that level, I could see her winning. But my gut tells me that Nia Jax is going to keep it. Well, let's think about this. Because what's Nia doing beyond this? Nia, in a lot of ways, has kind of killed the character that she was building leading up to WrestleMania in the lead up to this match. I don't see how after this match, Nia Jax is considered a good guy, right? I don't think after this match, Nia Jax is fighting for, body image issues and is fighting against bullying because Nia Jax has done her share of bullying. I think they've tried to take a few steps back on that, the way she's been apologetic to Natty in the last 2 weeks, but I don't think that it's enough. And I think it'll confuse people if Nia Jax goes back to being here's what I think is going to happen. Change my mind. Okay, here's where we go. Ronda Rousey is going to win the Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. Ronda Rousey wins that championship. Natalya is going to come out with the briefcase, right? Ronda Rousey gets distracted. Nia Jax goes for the roll-up. Does not get to pin Ronda Rousey. Right? Ronda Rousey gets up. She does something to Nia, drop kicks her, does something. What are you doing here, Natty? Natty's like, I'm just here to watch. She goes back to wrestling, blah, 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 boom, 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 do this, do that, boom, 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 do that, do this. Natty then does something where she either trips or she does some kind of outward interference. It becomes clear that Natty is trying to make Ronda lose, right? And Natty does something, whether it's tripping her, hitting her with the briefcase, doing something behind the referee's back that allows Nia to make the cover. 1, 2, Ronda kicks out, grabs Nia's arm, puts her in that armbar. Nia taps out. Ronda Rousey wins the Raw Women's Championship. And she points at Natalya, and then she points at the briefcase and goes, you want to cash that in? Cash it in. And she looks at her holding the title, and then Natalya backs away slowly, holding the briefcase. That's how I have this going. Ronda Rousey wins the Raw Women's Championship. Natty tries to interfere, but it's unsuccessful. So coming to Raw on Monday, Ronda now knows that Natty is not her friend. And Natty knows that even though she's got that briefcase, this is all blown up in her face because she now has to beat Ronda Rousey if she wants to be the Raw Women's Champion. So that's where I think that's going. Ronda Rousey is your new Raw Women's Champion. That's not the only title that's going to change hands. Nakamura wins WWE Championship at Money in the Bank. I think he needs it at this point. I think if you're going to take the bad guy Nakamura character seriously, he's been kicking dicks the entire time. Kicking dicks and taking names. I think that you have to have Nakamura win the championship in order for people to take the heel seriously, right? I just think it's a necessity at this point. I think if you don't, then he's not a credible threat anymore. This is his, I think, let's see. We did WrestleMania. I think we did a match on Raw. We did Greatest Royal Rumble. We've already done this at least 3, if not 4 times. This is either the 4th or the 5th title match that these two have had. And they've all ended either at WrestleMania or with dick kicks. Enough. If you're going to keep kicking in the dick, you got to win the title. If not, nobody's going to take you seriously. Nakamura wins the championship because too many dick kicks. That's how I see things going for Money in the Bank. And finally, I think we end with the men's Money in the Bank. Okay, I think the second to last match is Nia Jax versus Ronda Rousey. I think the final match is the men's Money in the Bank match. And that's going to lead people into believing that Braun Strowman is walking out of there with the briefcase. But Kevin Owens wins that match. Kevin Owens is the dark horse. Kevin Owens is the one that everybody's ignoring. I think some people think Braun Strowman. A lot of people think The Miz. I don't know what the gambling odds are. I think that the New Day is going to do the switcheroo a few times. I don't think it's going to be just one member of the New Day. I think they're going to go Freebird rule throughout the match. But I think that it's going to be a spectacular match. But I think it's going to be Kevin Owens walking out of that. If it's not Kevin Owens, it should be Bobby Roode, and he should turn to a bad guy. But I think Kevin Owens wins that match. And I think Kevin Owens shows up on Raw bragging about it. I think he uses it to suck up more to Stephanie McMahon. And I think that the story is Raw brought home both briefcases. It's a big deal for Raw. You know, they were successful. And Baron Corbin takes credit for it, and Kurt Angle takes credit for it. I think it's great. So that's how I have it going. Let's see. Have Nia lose, then destroy Rousey in anger, then Natty cashes in on Ronda, then the feud into Extreme Rules. Absolutely not. Ronda Rousey is not going to win the title just to lose it. You know, it's just not going to happen. Ronda Rousey's not losing. There's a lot being invested into Ronda Rousey, and too much is being invested in her to have her lose matches. So I don't see that happening.